I'm back at it again, working on the units that we're going to put into the drinks cabinet in the dining room. So I've just cut a length of wood off this wonderful beech board down to 97 centimeters, and now I'm going to cut 18 centimeter strips, and the idea is that I'm going to then crisscross them. I will do a gusset down the middle on the two different sides and then slot them in together. So I figured out the angle that I need, which is going to be a little tricky, but I got myself a new rotary saw or circular saw to make the precision cuts a little better. So hopefully this works. We'll give it a try. Right, so I'm test fitting the units that I built so far. So you can see there's one X there. There'll be a second one behind it for the bottles to be placed into. And then two new shelves. And don't worry, that's not what the background's gonna look like. And then on the lower shelf, I'm going to build an angled shelf to display a couple of nicer bottles of wine on the bottom. So yeah, it's coming along. Precision is good. I mean, I'm no Omri, and I will never claim to be, but you know, it's coming together. Okay, so I've got my pieces cut. Now let's see if they fit. I did do a dry measure earlier just to make sure at least the first one fit, so knock on wood, literally. Okay, there's that one. Let's try this one. Same way, yeah. Right. Well, that's the first challenge, is getting them actually in here. I was a bit concerned about that because it's so tight in here, but it seems to have worked. As long as I can get this one in. This should be fun. All right, well, not quite there yet. A couple of things I can do. I can get the glass racks onto this. So it's coming along. I finally got the two sections in. What I ended up having to do was actually slice just a little corner off, and that gave me just enough to be able to swing it around in that tight space. Yeah, I just need to take a little bit off the back one, I think, and they will sit nice and flush. And yeah, perfect storage for wine bottles. Wine bottles, of course. And then there's the rack there. And the last thing I'm going to do is build a shelf for the bottom that is angled up so that we can display some nice bottles of wine. Here we go. I'm working away on the angled shelf for the bottom of the drinks cabinet. And I just need someone to appreciate the fact that I managed to get dowels to work. This is something that was a little tricky, but I wanted to make sure that the shelf was going to work properly. So I put in dowels and holes along the rail, and this is to keep it upright at the right angle. And I am amazed because I almost never get these right, but it seems to have worked this time. So there we go, the leg for the shelf is on. Nice and sturdy, just gotta let that glue set. As I say, I've got the dowels in there, so shouldn't move too far. So now we can work on the front lip. My angled shelf is in, seems to be working quite nicely actually. I did have to remove one of these supports on this side just to be able to get it in, but it's just nailed in, so it'll be easy enough to replace. Time to start staining, making it look good. So we're gonna go with a darkish stain, something that matches the furniture that's in the dining room. And then we can put this stuff all together. Here we go. And I'm gonna use a cloth and rub it on as opposed to a brush, because I think it gives it a bit more control and I quite like the effect. So here we go. Ooh, I might need a lot of this. Everything's got a nice coat of stain on it now. We'll let it dry and see how it turns out and decide whether we want another coat on there after all. It's not as dark as I was expecting to be, admittedly, but it might just require an extra coat or two. Anyway, on to the next step. I'm just working on the door that came off of the drinks cabinet. So this was covered in the wallpaper that was previously in the dining room. And it was quote unquote a hidden door, but they used this metal as sort of a, I don't know, connector to, or a way of hiding the door a little bit. And it's in rough shape and, you know, not really doing anything for me. So what we've decided to do is hopefully I can preserve the wood. It's going to take a little while to get all this stuff off there. There was actually this canvas that was there on top of this board, and I'm not quite sure why they put that on there, to be perfectly honest. I'm not sure whether it was just to adhere the paper better. But anyway, regardless, we're going to take this central panel out and put glass in. And you can see the panel is just... it's just in there on the ends, actually. It looks like it's sort of a tongue and groove, but it's just connected at the end. So I think if I just run a knife, or sorry, a saw through the middle of this, I should be able to pull it out. And then we can build in a small frame, drop in a piece of glass, and hopefully we'll have a glass-fronted cabinet. So here we go. We'll see what I can do with this door. I've just taken a drill bit and drilled a hole through the central panel so that I could get my saw blade in there. And I'm just going to cut a line along there, and hopefully then the two pieces should just pop out. It doesn't appear to be glued, so I think it should be a relatively easy thing to take out. All right, made a cut. Let's have a look. Yep, as I suspected, that came out really easily. So there was a little bit of a tongue and groove going on there, but it really wasn't well attached at all. So yeah, the panel should come out nice and easy now. To fasten the burlap that they had on this frame, they used these funny little, they're sort of between a tack and a nail. They're squared off, but they used a lot of them. So I'm just taking my time here with a bit of a pry bar and a hammer, trying to get each one of these out. You can see all the holes there that are around this frame. So it's taking a little bit of work, but I think it'll be worthwhile. Then I can start sanding all of the stuff down and get it prepped for painting. I've given the frame an initial sand down to get rid of all of the bits of canvas and paint and wallpaper and all sorts of stuff that was on here, and it actually came up really quite nicely. So what I'm going to do next is actually fill all these holes with some wood filler, and then give it a final sanding to make it look all pretty, and then we'll work on getting the hinges on and the paint on the back side off. Well, I think I've gotten to a point now where I can prime this. I put a new frame in, so that's what you're seeing here. And that's so that we can put a piece of glass in. So as you can see on the back now, there's a lip here where we can drop a piece of glass in, secure it to the frame, and then putty it in. But I've also filled in all of the holes that were left by the nails, and now it's time to prime. So I'm going to do a primer coat on this, and then we're going to paint it the same blue that we painted the rest of the wood in the dining room. And that will serve as the door to the cabinet. I left the old hardware on there. You can see here it does have a keyhole and a key that operates the sort of deadbolt on the side. So I will utilize that. I don't think it worked perfectly fine, so there's no point in doing that. So on to priming.
Steve is executing on my brilliant idea.
So we're just seeing here about potentially using corks on the backdrop of the drinks cabinet.
Yeah.
So Sarah's always looked at me and go, why are you saving corks?
We should recycle them, but no.
This could be a reason why.
Yeah.
Because we have a few.
Yeah.
And if we just do the top, like the top two sections, so the big section at the very top, and then
this
one
first
behind the glasses,
shelf, the middle shelf? Yeah.
Middle shelf.
Yeah.
So we've got all these wonderful corks. They're all running away from me now.
Cork on the run.
We would cut them in half so they'd have a flat surface, and hot glue gun them essentially to a panel.
Yeah.
And put that in.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you think we have enough?
I think so. I mean, we practically have enough right there, and we're just not even cutting them in half.
Yeah, I mean, it's double this, right? Double
Yeah.
what we got, so.
We had been looking at other fabrics because basically we decided we just couldn't quite get our brains around this fabric in situ. It's just a little too.
Oh, we had an idea of gold initially, right? So that's where the spray paint came in.
Yeah.
The spray paint obviously didn't work. So then we started looking for fabric. We thought this fabric might be good. Then you got into the lighting here and it didn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
But this could be something kind of interesting. This is a new thought. This is something that Sarah's come up with, and we do have a few corks. So.
We do have a few corks.
Oh, cutting them all is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Well, we can give it a shot.
And if not, we'll just have to drink
more wine.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna make up a space that's gonna, you know,
That's true.
storage for, I don't know, 100 bottles of wines or 50 bottles of wine. So, you know, we're gonna have to figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
I think the champagne corks, they're bigger, so
Yeah.
they make
They make
up
more coverage.
space, right?
We'll have to separate those. Yeah. All right, let's try this.
All
More test and fun DIY. Cork cutting is starting. I've got a lot to get through, so we'll see if I can pull this off today. Yeah, today. It'll be easy, we thought. We'll just cut some corks apart and put them on a board. Well, turns out that my hand is getting a little bit red from the cutting. And of course, not all corks are the same size. So now I get to play the jigsaw puzzle of the artificial ones and the actual cork and the actual cork that's significantly longer than the other cork, and the beer ones that are a different size altogether. I guess they're kind of that size, close to that size. So yeah, now I have to figure out how to arrange these so that they kind of make sense size-wise. Maybe I'll go 2 by 2. Maybe that works. That kind of works. Anyway, I think we'll do this because that seems to be working. And just a little bit more to go. This is what I've got with what I've cut so far. We have that many corks left to do that much space. I don't think the math is going to work out, but that's okay. We will probably drink a little bit more wine in the future and fill it in as we go. I haven't glued any of this down yet, so nobody touch it.
How's it going in here, love? No.
It's going super duper. I'm just about a half an inch too short for this job, so I'm really stretching into the corners, but...
Do you want me to bring the big ladder in, or do you want me to do this to the painting in the corner?
It's fine, I'll stretch.
You sure? Okay.
It's good for me.
So there goes the gold.
Yeah.
It was an interesting experiment, but we've got a better plan now.
Oh, yes.
Well, I think we are at a stage now where we can start putting stuff into the cabinet and start feeling how it's going to work. We had to be careful about that because a few of these pieces needed to go in before the other pieces could, because it's mostly to do with the fact that there's a lip on the cabinet. So fitting stuff in there, we want to make sure that it's sort of a tailored finish. So.
Just so.
Okay, so the very first piece that needs to go in is this. So this was the shelf you saw me make. That's on an angle, so that we can display some lovely wine.
Such a perfectly snug fit.
So there we go.
Beauty.
That looks really nice, I think.
It does. Good job.
And actually, there's a little bit of room to move in there for the lighting.
Oh.
Okay, so that's first thing. And to get that in, I needed to remove this. Which is actually
puzzle piece number 2.
Yeah, so this is actually the support for the shelf. So I'm going to grab my hammer, a couple of nails.
Oh, sound engineer.
Sorry. So
You're good.
Next is just a good old shelf.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys can see this, but the shelf is not exactly straight, and that is by design.
Yep.
Because this isn't terribly straight. I think this is the right way.
Let's just say Omri wasn't the one who put this cabinet in the first place.
Oh, actually, no, it's the wrong way around.
Oh.
Which is good because there was a...
Mint.
Oh.
There we go.
So there we go. So now you see the effect of the shelf there.
Okay.
Okay, so the next piece is the second shelf. And this one has the glass rack on it.
Yep.
So this should just sit like so.
Beauty. Whoa, that's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And should we show them now what the back is going to look like?
I think we should.
All right, so Sarah had a brilliant idea and has been executing on this all day long.
With a little bit of help from you, because basically my hand ran out of juice on the last row of corks, so I need some help.
So we have corks.
Yeah.
I've been saving corks. Sarah's been wondering why I've been saving corks, but now there's a reason.
Now we know why.
So the bottom one, as you can see, it's not done yet, and that's because we haven't drank enough yet.
Yes.
But we can keep adding to it, and that's kind of the fun part of it. So we'll put it in and glue gun, and then we'll keep adding as we go. So it's kind of a fun, continuous project, I think.
Mint. Oh, I love that. I love it.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of how that's going to look.
Yeah.
So then,
last but not least, oh no, it isn't even last,
It's
because we've
not
still
last.
got more to do.
it's got this guy. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, stop flinging the corks around, honey.
So this is the background. You can see these are the wine.
Yeah, I left your top spot marked. There we go, I left
Okay,
your top
good.
spot free.
Yeah, so this will go into the top section.
Okay.
I think this is looking great.
Yeah. Oh, I'm liking how that's coming out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this looks great. So we got the blue paint in there.
Yeah, it gets way better than the yellow fabric now.
Yeah.
Whew.
And then the last piece to go in are these fabulous things, which probably took the most amount of work to try and figure out angles, to be perfectly honest.
And it's going to be easy enough to fill this in, even without taking the shelf out, because we can just glue each individual cork as we've done and slide it in around the shelves. Like, it shouldn't be that much of a hardship, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was my test one. Worked out all right. It's not perfect. If you look closely, it's not perfect.
I won't
This
look closely.
one, on the other hand, I worked hard to make sure this one looks really good. So
Excellent. Excellent, honey. You see what I did there?
I like it.
Excellent.
So hopefully I have done this right. I think this one goes like this. It sits like that.
It wants to go, I can tell.
There we go. Okay, so it's now in. And there's the X.
Beauty.
Oh, and those sit almost perfect. If I do say so myself, I'm pretty proud of these, quite frankly.
Yeah, you don't do woodwork like this very often, so.
No,
yeah.
that's true. And we still have room, you see, to be able to get in here and put corks up.
Yep.
We will have to take the wine out, though.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
And there you go.
Wow.
So the top, we'll just demonstrate as well, will be storage for wine. And I think there's gonna be a lot of wine in there.
Actually, we could fit a lot of wine in there.
Yeah, I think there's a good, I don't know, 50 bottles worth of wine in there. So we need to go wine shopping.
We are gonna have to go stock up.
But but yeah, the nice thing is it will sit like that.
Oh, that looks nice. Leave that there, yes.
And then we can, we've got some LED lighting.
What?
Ah. And we are going to, we have our electrician coming in. He's going to put a switch for us, or a plug for us, in the cabinet below here.
Yeah.
Which has a pass-through.
Because
up through
there's a
here.
little gap right here. We didn't do that. It was all ready for us.
Yeah, and I think actually this used to be a doorway, so that's kind of
Yeah.
why it was like that. And so there will be
this
LED
looks
lighting.
so nice, honey. You did such a good job.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with all the way this looks. So this will run on the inside of the cabinetry and light everything up.
Yes.
It's gonna take us a little while to get that organized, but it'll be nice. The whole cabinet will be lit.
Yeah.
The nice thing is with these lights, we can do all sorts of different colors, and we can even make it go disco with music if we
That's
wanted
right,
to.
we can.
So-
If we want to be that kind of tacky, we can. I love it.
So there you go. Quite a transformation, I think, from what it was 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think it's coming along really nicely. There we go. Look at that. Almost perfect.
Ooh, I quite like it.
Well, there we go. How about that?
Ooh, get a few more corks in there. Get the glass on.
And more wine.
More wine. Great job, honey.
I think this works really nicely because now the ones that we want to showcase have a little extra light to them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's jazzy.
We did a thing.
I think it's awesome.
I think it's great. Can just get 4 on there.
Just get 4 champagne.
Hi everyone, there's just a couple of spots left for the June Creative Awakening Retreat. We would love you to come stay with us and discover your inner artist through the very cool medium of encaustic.
I'd like to personally invite you to join me here in 2023 to join my art retreats.
Early bird pricing ends this week, so check it out on manorandmaker.com.